Hello, my name's Alexander. I'm the author of this course, Russian for Beginners. And what you're about to see is an overview of the first lesson of my course, where I'm going to explain to you the essentials you must be aware of before you actually begin to learn the material using my method. The primary goal of my course is to help foreign learners develop their skills for colloquial speech in Russian. In order to achieve that, you should be able to read in Russian, to pronounce words correctly, and to acquire the ability to listen to Russian native speech and being able to understand it to a certain degree. And also, you should try typing and even writing. For example, почтальон, почтальон, почтальон. So the goals are reading, pronunciation and speaking, comprehensive listening, and writing. So when we learn a language, we must develop these abilities simultaneously. However, firstly, you must learn the Russian alphabet, which will allow you to read Cyrillic letters. I've made a separate video on the subject and have included the free PDF guide so that you can learn the Russian alphabet and analyze it. Then you have to understand how the letters are pronounced. For this case, I'm using phonetic transcriptions in Latin letters, which will make the process easier for you. However, there are some unique rules to go by concerning transcriptions. Despite the fact that you know all these Latin letters, you should really memorize the way I transcribe words, so that you don't have any further questions about pronunciation rules in the course. And this is important. The next thing is listening. We want to listen to the language we learn as much as possible, and listening is probably the most important thing that helps develop your language abilities. So, once you've learned the transcriptions and the way the letters are pronounced, you should read every word aloud, trying to imitate the pronunciation of a native speaker. To do this, let's have a look at one of the exercises. Б, бык, боб, бобы, баба, багаж. В, вот, вы, твой, вата, рвы, вой, вечер. Г, гора, где, когда, говорить, рок. The phonetic exercises of this kind are going over and over again through the course to improve your pronunciation. Once you are done with the Russian alphabet and the pronunciation rules, the next thing to do is to have a general understanding of parts of speech. Personal pronouns. Personal pronouns are used to specify people or things. There are three persons in singular and plural. Я, ты, он, она, оно. Мы, вы, они. Nouns. A noun is a word used to name a person, animal, place, thing, an abstract idea. In Russian, nouns are gender-specific. Three genders: masculine, feminine, and neuter. Работа, стол, компьютер, стул. Это стул. This is a chair. Это стул. Это работа. This is a job. Это работа. Demonstrative pronouns. Demonstrative pronouns specify people or things and are used to indicate them in distance or time. Это, этот, это, эти. То, тот, та, те. Learning a language is also about knowing some syntax, which means you are able to use grammatical constructions correctly in your speech, as much as you can. Now let's compose some short sentences in Russian from what we've learned. Этот стул. This chair. Здесь. Here. Этот стул здесь. This chair is here. Тот стул. That chair. Тот стул там. That chair is over there. Pay attention that demonstrative pronouns and nouns here agree with the gender. Let's have a look at another example. Это работа. This work. Здесь. Это работа здесь. This work is here. Та работа. That work. Та работа там. That work is there. Now move on to verbs. A verb describes an action. Here we have a verb делать. This form of a verb is called the infinitive form. Changing verbs and persons is called conjugation. Let's conjugate it to see its personal endings. Делать. Я делаю. Ты делаешь. Он делает. Она делает. Оно делает. Мы делаем. Вы делаете. Они делают. Verbs may also be transitive or intransitive. Transitive verbs require an object, whereas intransitive ones don't. The verb говорить is an intransitive one. Let's conjugate this one too. Говорить. Я говорю. Ты говоришь. Он говорит. Мы говорим. Вы говорите. Они говорят. Another important part of speech is the adjective. Adjectives describe and qualify nouns. They also agree in gender with nouns. Хороший. Хороший стул. Хорошая. Хорошая работа. And finally, we have adverbs. The adverb modifies a verb. Хорошо. Я делаю этот стол хорошо. Хорошо работать. Хорошо. A language cannot exist without prepositions and conjunctions that join words and phrases together. Let's have a look at some of them. Prepositions. На. О. Этот компьютер на столе. Я говорю о компьютере. Conjunctions. И, а, но, что, или. They are essential, and it won't take you too long to memorize them. That's pretty much it. We've covered the parts of speech, and once you've learned these basics, you can already make up the simplest sentences. Those may be affirmative, negative, and interrogative, basically. Let's view the affirmative ones first. In the affirmative sentences, we state something. For example, Я делаю этот стол хорошо. Here you find a personal pronoun, a verb with its personal ending in the first singular, a demonstrative pronoun, a noun, and an adverb which tells you how I make this desk. And I make it well. Хорошо. Notice that endings in Russian are very important. Don't confuse the adverb хорошо with an adjective хороший, like in the next sentence. Он делает тот хороший стул. The adjective has respectively its masculine ending. And the final example for the statements: Мы делаем тот компьютер. We're making that computer. Now let's view negative sentences. To deny the action, just put a negative particle «не» in front of a verb. It's quite simple. Я не делаю этот стол хорошо. I don't make this desk well. Мы не делаем тот компьютер. We're not making that computer. And to conclude this video, let's have an example of an interrogative sentence. It looks pretty much as a statement. We just change our intonation and raise the voice towards the end of the phrase. For example, let's use the same sentence. Я делаю этот стол хорошо? Do I make this desk well? As you can see, you don't need to know too much to make up simple phrases. In the PDF guide to the first lesson, you'll find more practical drills and exercises to work over the stuff we've covered in this lesson. And if you're a complete beginner, don't try to learn fast. Analyze the lesson. You'll need a deep consideration of the whole thing, starting with the alphabet, of course. At the end of each lesson, you'll have a test. It represents different exercises to check yourself. I don't use transcription in them. Well, that's about it. This was an overview of the first lesson of my course. Please follow the links to the exercises of the lesson. Both audio and reading materials are available, so that you can get a deeper understanding of the explained stuff and will work with the drills. I sincerely hope you liked this introduction. Feel free to comment on it and ask your questions. Learning a language must involve any sorts of activities. Once you've got the basics, you'll want to implement your knowledge and evolve. Never be afraid of making mistakes. It's natural. Set yourself a goal and let the language fascinate you. Make Russian-speaking friends, watch Russian movies with subtitles, listen to numerous Russian podcasts and radio stations, expand vocabulary by reading Russian literature, try to translate from Russian into English and vice versa. Write out new words into your own dictionary. All this will help develop your language skills, and soon you'll be amazed at how great you've progressed. Visit my website for more information if you're serious about learning Russian. See you soon, and good luck!